Mr. Secretary General, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to thank you for the invitation to outline the priorities of the Slovak OSCE Chairmanship in 2019. And as well, I very much appreciate and acknowledge the current Italian Chairmanship for an excellent work done under increasingly complex and challenging circumstances. We are witnessing changes to the international arena and its rule-based order. To address these changes, we have to strengthen the international system founded on effective multilateral cooperation and good global governance. We need to start using the tools of our multilateral toolbox properly. Our multilateral institutions were built for people. They were not built for politicians, and they were also not built for diplomats. They were built for people. If we lose sight of that, we might lose sight of our overall mission. Dialogue is the core of multilateralism. It is the most basic and yet the most powerful instrument that we have. Frankly, we need to dust it down and start using it again. A dialogue where not only we hear what is said, but we very much attentively listen. With this in mind, even a dialogue on difficult topics is possible and may move things forward. It is this organization that provides a suitable platform for such a dialogue. The structured dialogue on the current and future challenges and risks to security in the OSCE area offers a platform for exchange on threat perception, transparency, cooperation, as well as possible way forward to foster greater understanding on these issues. And once again, we already do have the tools at our disposal to tackle the challenges that we face. It is up to us to implement them properly and fully. How should be the topic of our debate in order to adapt them to the ever-changing security environment. The lack of trust in the military aspects of the first dimension is being evident for some time. Confidence and security building measures, transparency and predictability are unfortunately on decline. Together with respective Forum for Security Cooperation chairmanships, we will support the implementation of existing confidence and security building measures, as well as mill-to-mill contacts in order to improve transparency of the armed forces. Effective and accountable security sector forms an integral part of ensuring sustainable peace and development. Let us be frank, prevention is a very hard work. It does not meet the headlines, and often it takes place behind the scenes. In addition, it requires real and tangible investment, time and patience, and most importantly, it requires political will. Conflict prevention has become a special tool in the organization's inventory. Next year, Slovakia will strive to support the existing negotiating formats of the protracted conflicts in the OSCE area. Every one of them deserves our close attention, be it 5+2 on Transnistria, Geneva International Discussion on Georgia, or co-chairs of Minsk Group on Nagorno-Karabakh conflict. A dialogue leading to a political solution is what we need and what we will support. Our chairmanship will be open to collaboration with all parties, and here I very much am counting on your support and your cooperation. Major crises in confidence, a reflection of lack of trust, have exploded in Ukraine, in our direct neighborhood. OSCE was able to build a special monitoring mission, again, our tool for crisis management. This mission proves the ability and willingness of participating states to find the consensus swiftly when fundamental principles guiding our relations are at stake. The crisis in Ukraine, however, should also serve as a warning that reacting to crisis is much costlier and much more complex than preventing it from ever happening. Our observers there, who provide us with highly important information about the situation on the ground, continue to face threats, intimidation, and restriction of their movement, and this needs to change. During my recent trip to the line of contact in East Ukraine, I have witnessed the consequences of political inaction and their impact on those who have nothing to do with the conflict or have nothing to do with the politics behind the conflict. Things might move faster should we all have the first-hand, eye-opening experience. I express our full support and highly welcome the so far successful agreement on a harvest ceasefire. I view all recommitments to the ceasefire as an important part of the efforts to provide a much-needed relief for the suffering civilians. However long pause to the fighting, we need a political solution to the crisis. Therefore, we will support the political process of the Normandy format and the trilateral contact group. Ladies and gentlemen, transnational threats are among emerging challenges that do not respect borders. In order to ensure continuity among chairmanships, Slovakia would like to continue its support to prevention of violent extremism and radicalization that lead to terrorism in its comprehensive approach. Cybersecurity is a global phenomenon that requires effective coordination of activities not only at the national but also international levels. 2 sets of confidence-building measures were adopted by the OSCE. Now there is a time for their implementation. Economic and environmental issues were always part of the OSCE agenda, reflecting its comprehensive approach to security. I see personally the second dimension with its positive agenda as the least conflicting one that we have, and that is why we will very much focus on the second dimension during our chairmanship. Connectivity and cooperation among producers, transit countries, and energy consumers will lead to strengthened security and stability and shall decrease risks of crisis in the future. In this regard, Slovakia will further support energy network protection from natural or man-made disasters. Our attention should also be focused on good governance as a driving force for inclusive and sustainable economic development and water management in the era of new technologies of the fourth industrial revolution. Slovakia notes the current challenges that the third human dimension faces. We call on participating states to defend the third dimension and agree on long-term sustainable solutions that will allow us to focus on improvement of implementation of our already given commitments. Respect for human rights and fundamental freedoms is without any doubt among the key aspects of the comprehensive security and security community of the OSCE area. Support of tolerance and non-discrimination, respect to others, regardless of their religion, belief, or race, create a basis for peaceful coexistence. But on the other hand, the intolerance and prejudice lead to radicalization. Therefore, prevention, education, media, and civil society shall play an irreplaceable role in our joint endeavors. During our chairmanship, we will cooperate closely with the autonomous institutions of the OSCE, which we consider an asset and an added value to the organization and its work. We'll also not leave unattended the issues relating to national minorities such as Roma, or freedom of media and security of journalists. Excellencies, during 2019, Slovakia will pursue strategies that will boost effective multilateralism, further promote conflict prevention, and direct its focus on activities to address needs of people. The forthcoming Slovak chairmanship is ambitious, but it is also realistic. We are aware of the fact that even the most enthusiastic chairmanships cannot address all of the challenges without relying on the unity of purpose that has underpinned the OSCE since 1975. A chairmanship can assist and facilitate. The chairmanship can mediate and moderate. It can also support and defend, but it cannot replace the political will of the participating states. I believe we have a serious job here. We do not have to agree at all times, but what we can do is have a discussion. We shall have a discussion, and I assure you that we will during 2019. Thank you very much.